Hey guys, welcome on and welcome back. I am not going to be on here long, but as I was going throughout today, there was something that stuck with me, and I'm looking at two cameras, so you guys bear with me. There is something that stood out to me, and actually, this is something that I've been hearing over the weekend. I've been hearing the word ethic, our work ethic, right? There are so many things that we all desire. There are so many things that we want in life. But I believe that one of the greatest differences that sets certain people apart as to why some people have certain things, and we all know that there's a certain time and a place for everything. God does everything purposely, right? I believe that there's a time and a season for everything. But I think what sets many of us apart is our work ethic. And it's not to say that we don't have that work ethic. I believe that with life circumstances and so many different things that we're dealing with on a day-to-day basis, many of us have lost that work ethic. Many of us have lost that fire. Many of us are trying to figure out where is the laziness coming from and where is the procrastination coming from and where is the down feeling coming from, where you feel like you don't want to go after what it is that God has called you to go after. Many of us are feeling like we tried it before and we really don't want to start again. Whatever God is calling you to start, only you would know that. But this scripture always sticks out to me, and every time I read it, I myself, I'm convicted. So I wanted to share this scripture with you guys really quick. Proverbs 6 through 11. This is a very familiar scripture, and I'm reading from the NIV version. Proverbs 6 through 11 says this: Go to the ant, you sluggard. Consider its ways and be wise. It has no commander, no overseer or ruler, yet it stores its provision in the summer and gathers its food at harvest. How long will you lie there, you sluggard? When will you get up from your sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to rest, and poverty will come on you like a thief, and scarcity like an armed man. I taught on this scripture before. If you're on my YouTube or my podcast, you can type in "consider the ants." And I kind of taught on this a little bit maybe about 2 months ago, but this scripture popped out to me again over the weekend. And I just really want to pray against the spirit of laziness and against the spirit of procrastination as a behavior. Oh goodness, give me 1 second, guys. And I'm recording right now, but once always forget that I set my Facebook on a time limit and or for screen time, and it shuts off after 15 minutes. But nevertheless, this scripture it stuck out to me over the weekend. And as a behavior analyst, I have a heart for those who just feel mentally exhausted. I have a heart for those who feel lazy. I have a heart for those who deal with procrastination. I don't only have a heart for those of you who are feeling that way. I know from experience, I know from firsthand what that could feel like, and I know how difficult it can be to press through and to push through whatever it is that God is calling you to do because of laziness, because of procrastination. And if we can be honest, we've had a rough few years. It's 2024, but if we can think about from 2020 all the way to this current time, it hasn't been the easiest. It's been mentally draining, mentally exhausting. And so I just want to speak to those of you who are feeling like you don't know where the spirit of laziness is coming from. And I can tell you that sometimes it can be a fact that life has exhausted you, that life circumstances has exhausted you. But then at other times, you got to acknowledge the fact that you're in your own way. At other times, you have to acknowledge the fact that it could potentially be a spirit of laziness, spirit of procrastination. Whatever it is, it's standing in between you and where God is wanting to take you to. It's standing in between you and what God is wanting to do in your life. For those of you who are tuning into this message currently, I want to remind you on tonight to consider the ant. to consider the ant. Consider your goals, consider your purpose, consider your destiny, even if you don't know what your purpose is, even if you don't know where you're headed or where God is taking you. I know that there's something deep down on the inside of you that's like, I'm tired of where I am. I know I have to make a change. And if I don't make a change, who's going to make that change for me? When you think about your children, many of you are brought to tears for simple things. Your children may be asking you for things that you want to do with your children. But I hear the Lord saying, this is going to be a season where you got to begin to press through. This is going to be a season where you got to begin to push through what it feels like. You got to begin to push through. And a part of that pushing through is being honest and being real with where you are and where you stand. There are times when I have to say, God, I know you're calling me to do more in this season, but for some reason, I feel a heaviness. I feel something pressing down on me. And so we want to talk a little bit about work ethic. How is your work ethic in this season? How has your work ethic been this year? And I'm not talking about how your work ethic is on your job. I mean, you can look at your behaviors on your job because, listen, I do believe at times how we do one thing is how we do everything. And so, how is your work ethic? And when I talk about your work ethic, first of all, are you a person with integrity, right? Are you a person with integrity? You know what you want out of life, but yet you are still not going after it. So, what separates the successful person from the person who is in poverty? What separates a person who's going after their dreams? I came across a post that said, there is someone with lesser resources than you doing more than what you are doing in this moment. Many of us, our biggest complaint is what we don't have. Our biggest complaint is where we are currently. Our biggest complaint is what we do not know. But I will have you to be reminded of the text that talks about the woman who had the oil in her house, and she had to go and consider the oil that was already in her house. And so I will ask you this question, and I will submit to you at this moment. What is it that you have in your house? What is it that you have in your hands that you can currently use? You may not have the bachelor's or the master's or even the doctorate right now. You may just have an associate. You may just have a high school diploma, but what you do have is the experience. Do you think that you went through what you went through let me say this, nothing is wasted. Every experience that you went to, you may have received the eviction. You may have had to live with someone. You may have received a repossession. You may have went through a divorce. You may have gotten an abortion. Listen, you may have left the church. The church may have kicked you out. Whatever your situation is, your friendship may have ended. Whatever it is, let go of the embarrassment. Let go of the shame. Figure out, how is God wanting you to use your story? You got to understand that there is some gold in your story. You got to understand that you are here for a purpose. You are here for a reason. Every single thing that you went through is God is going to cause it to work out for your good. And I just want to remind you that there is nothing that is wasted in this season. Nothing is wasted in this season. Hey, Mom, there is nothing wasted in this season. There's no thing that you went through in your life. Listen, a lot of people, they take their purpose with them to the grave. But I just pray over everybody that's listening on here. Hey, Santina Mitchell, it's good to see you. I pray for everyone that's tuned in to the sound of my voice right now. And I pray that you would begin to shake off every spirit of laziness. I pray that you would begin to shake off every spirit of procrastination, anything that's been pressing down on you, that's causing you not to move forward again. And I just keep hearing this for somebody. I just keep hearing God say, it's time for you to try again. Many of you do not want to try again. And I know that it took a lot for you to start before. And I know you sold everything that you had before. And I know you felt like you put all of your eggs into it. You put all of your time into it. You put all of your energy into it. You put all of your emotions into it. Come on. You were even embarrassed. You even felt let down. You felt like nobody supported you. But this is going to be a season where you got to walk through this process, understanding that if you only got an audience of one, if God is the only person there that's rooting you on, on, listen, heaven backing you is enough. Somebody needs to be reminded that heaven backing you is enough. Heaven backing you is enough. God is wanting to see, are you going to be a good steward over what it is that he's given you in this moment? Come on, what are you sitting on right now? What are you sitting on right now? Many of you are graphic designers. You know how to create graphics. You know how to create ebooks. Many of you, you know how to clean good. Start the cleaning business. Come on. What's keeping you from starting that cleaning business? Do you need graphic cards? Whatever it is, inbox me. I can make you a business card right now and it won't take long. You got to figure out and understand what you are graced for in this season. Many of you know how to do hair. Come on. What's stopping you? What's stopping you? I always say this, and I know that it sounds harsh, but it's not. One of the biggest realizations that I had to face, listen, I'm not talking about what y'all had to face. I'm talking about what I had to face. I had to face the fact that no one was going to come and save me besides God and myself. It was going to be on me to get me from point A to point B. Come on, I waited around before. Come on, I felt like I deserved this and I deserved that. Oh God, I went through the divorces. God, I went through hell. Come on, I felt like I've been in a lion's den before. Come on, I felt like I've been through all of these different type of things. And just because you go through A, B, and C, you feel like God owes you something when you don't even realize your experience, you surviving that experience was all the gold that you needed. Come on. God is wanting to know, what are you going to do? Come on, what are you going to do with your story? What are you going to do with your process? Are you going to allow it to go to waste? Come on, in this moment, we got to begin to think about our children. We got to begin to think about the legacies that we are going to leave behind, the generational wealth that we are going to pass down. When you think about your children, what are you going to pass down to them? Are you going to pass down complaining? Are you going to pass down a victim mentality? A victim mentality says, listen, woe, it's me. Come on, I went through A, B, and C. You know, things always been hard for me and my family. That's a victim mentality. But when are you going to take on a victor mentality? When are you going to take on the mind of Christ? And I'm not coming here speaking to you today as if these are things that I don't deal with myself. There are many times where I got to lay my hands on myself and I got to begin to speak to every demonic stronghold, because that's all it is. It's a demonic stronghold that causes you not to want to get up out of that place, that causes you to want to stay in that dark place, that causes you want to be pressed down. Another thing that we got to begin to ask ourselves, what is driving me? The reason that you keep starting and stopping is because you are driven by money. And when you are driven by money, that will never be enough. You got to be driven by purpose, and you got to be driven by your ability to serve. You got to find a place to serve, and you got to find a people to serve. There are people that are called to you that you have to serve. But if you are driven by money, that will never be enough. Hey, cousin. It's good to see you. If you are driven by money, that will never be enough. You got to get to a point where you're driven by your purpose and where you're driven by your passion. Many of you may be saying, what is my purpose? What is my passion? You got to begin to think about the things in your life that God has brought you out of. I believe that everybody has a purpose, because if you did not have a purpose, you would not be living. Come on, you would have tapped out a long time ago. The enemy is after your purpose. The enemy is after your calling. The enemy is after the people that you are assigned to. Come on. Another thing that could be keeping you back is the spirit of comparison. You can't start anything because you're so busy focused on what everybody else is doing. But this is going to be the season where you got to begin to keep your eyes fixed on what God has for you. Come on. In order for you to get some staying power, in order for you to begin to develop your work ethic again, come on, your work ethic. What does that work ethic look like? That work ethic may look like you making some sacrifices and going to bed earlier. So you can get up earlier. Come on, you may be in a situation where you feel like you need to go to the gym more and you feel like you need to work out more? What is that going to take? Come on. What people are you called to in this season? Who are you called to help deliver? Who are you called to see through in this season? Building your work ethic is going to take you pushing through the emotions, pushing through when you don't feel like it. There are times when I don't feel like getting on live. We can't be driven by motivation because there are going to be plenty days where you are just simply not motivated. But when that motivation goes out the window, what are you going to rely on? It's going to be God and prayer that will get you through. Motivation is good, but motivation does not last. Inspiration is good, but inspiration does not last. Inspiration where you're scrolling other people's pages and you're looking at their lives and all of those different type of things. Those things don't last. You got to become rooted in this season. And another thing that's going to help us build that work ethic is breaking the spirit of distraction. What is distracting you in this season? Come on, it's September 9th. You got October, November, and December before 2025. Whatever is distracting you in this season, it's too costly. It's too costly. Come on. When we think about work ethic, what are you compromising? What areas in your life are you compromising? And are you willing to put down the spirit of compromise in this season? Come on, let's look at some other scriptures as it relates to work ethic. Colossians 3:23 says, whatever you do, work heartily. And let me say this. Stop trying to do things like you did before. I feel like it's so prophetic that my shirt says now. When I got in the house today, I just threw this shirt on. It scratched out yesterday and it scratched out tomorrow and it just says now. Let me show my Zoom followers. But yeah, it scratched out yesterday. It just says now and it scratched out tomorrow. I feel like that's so prophetic. It really is. We keep looking behind us at how we used to do things. We keep looking behind us at how things used to be, at the type of money we used to have, at the friends we used to have, at the relationships that we used to have, at the things that used to happen back then. Thank you, Raven. We keep looking back. But we got to begin to focus on today. What is God telling you to do right now? A lot of things that Lakeisha allowed last year, I'm telling you, I'm not allowing this in this season. There's some things that cause me to be mentally drained. I'm not doing it in this season. You are allowed to change your mind. You are allowed to say that does not work for me anymore and I want to move forward from it. You are allowed to break whatever is holding you down. You are allowed to do that. Come on. Ecclesiastes 9:10 says, whatever your hands find to do, do it with your might. For there is no work or thought or knowledge or wisdom to which you are going to do. A slack hand causes poverty. Proverbs 10:4. A slack hand causes poverty, but the hand of the diligent makes rich. So the whole purpose of this call tonight was to talk about your work ethic. How is your work ethic? God is after your work ethic. Your work ethic is going to determine whether or not you are being a good steward with the things that God has given you right now. What do you have in your hands? Are you using the talents that God is giving you in this season? Come on. Are you using the talents that he's giving you in this hour? Your work ethic is what's going to set you apart in this season. The whole scripture, you can find so many different scriptures that speaks on this, that speaks on our work ethics. And I think the spirit of laziness has consumed so many of us, especially single moms, because we feel like we just don't have the time. Mentally, we don't have the time. We don't have the energy. Come on, we feel like we just don't have it in us. After going to work, after coming home, After cooking, after doing everything that we got to do, we just feel like we don't have the energy to go after anything else. And I get it. God is after your work ethic. It's going to take faith for you to shift your work ethic. It's going to take faith for you to get up again. It's going to take faith for you to say, God, I'm willing to try in the face of adversity. It's going to take faith for you to say, God, listen, I don't know what I'm doing. God, I was embarrassed before. I'm dealing with the spirit of shame. I'm dealing with the spirit of guilt. God, it's going to take faith for you to get up and say, God, listen, I don't even have the following right now. I don't even have the money right now. God, I don't know which platform to use. It's going to take faith for you to get up again. It's going to take faith for you to go after your purpose. But I truly, truly believe that's what's standing in between you and your purpose is your work ethic. If you don't take anything else away from this call, I pray that you will take away the fact that it's your work ethic that's going to set you apart. It's your work ethic. Come on. It's your work ethic. Can you share the scriptures that you are speaking on in the group? I would love to put them in my prayer journal. Absolutely. One of the main scriptures that I came out of tonight was Proverbs 6:6-11. Proverbs 6:6-11. That one talks about the ants. Go consider the ants. Another one is Proverbs 10:4. And it talks about a slack hand causes poverty, but the hand of the diligent makes rich. Let me see, what was the other one? Proverbs 16:3, commit your work to the Lord and your plans will be established. And honestly, you can just look up work scriptures on work ethic and all of those different scriptures will come up. But I truly, truly, truly believe that what's going to stand, I just see like connecting dots. And literally, it's not that you're doing anything wrong. It's not that you've been in sin. Come on. Many of you feel like you're being punished, but you're not being punished. Many of you are just mentally exhausted. Some of you are spiritually exhausted. Some of you are emotionally exhausted. But guys, again, it's going to take faith for you to push through in this season. And it's going to be your work ethic that is going to get you from the place that you are now to the place where you want to be. It's going to take accountability. It's going to take consistency. And what I always say about consistency is not a straight line. Consistency could look like you checking off everything on your planner for Monday, but Tuesday you were only able to get one thing done. And then Wednesday you're able to get 2 things done. And Thursday you're able to get 4 things done. And Friday you were not able to get anything done, but you chose to get back up on Saturday. That's what consistency looks like. And many of you have an all or nothing attitude to where if it's not this or where it's not that, or if it's not perfect, you don't want to try at all. You got to be done with the all or nothing attitude. You got to be done. Come on, with even caring about what other people going to say. It got to be you and God in this season. It got to be you and God in this season. I truly, truly, truly believe that this is the word of the Lord. Work on your work ethic and watch where it takes you in this season. I want to help as many moms as I can. We are now offering the Praying Single Mom membership, and the link is going to be attached in the comments. It's already in the session, the section notes. But the Praying Single Mom membership is where it's a more intimate setting where we're going to be gathering outside of the Facebook community. It's virtually as well as in any in-person events. But click on the link and it's going to tell you all about the membership. It's on a totally different platform. We have our very own app. Come on, you'll have access to one-on-one coaching for your personal life. spiritual life, emotionally, whatever it is that you need to work on. These are some of the things that we're going to be talking about so that we can hold each other accountable and get to the next level. I pray that this message blessed you all. And if you are looking to connect outside of this, go ahead and click the link or shoot me a message, and I'll be happy to work with you guys.